at least. So still worrying times for Richards Bay, but a lot of positivity nonetheless, and we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Yeah, it's 5 games unbeaten now in the Betway Premiership for Richards Bay, their second longest unbeaten run as a top flight outfit. However, as Bongani has just mentioned, still 14th. In fact, only 3 points separating 11th from 15th.
And that's why a home victory for Richards Bay would have seen them really move away from that danger zone. So I do think that it's an opportunity lost.
Yeah.
But both coaches, we could just hear them talking to Lerato there, they're not happy with the performance. There were many opportunities for both teams to score, especially in the first half. Second half, lackluster. I think losing possession too often, and you could see the frustration from the coaches. So opportunity lost for both sides.
So then, top half of the standings, the only 2 victors this weekend to date, at the very least. Yes, Galaxy were winners earlier on, as were Mamelodi Sundowns, and that number now between 1 and 2. Yes, there's a big asterisk between the 2 of them because of those games in hand for the Buccaneers, but it really does start to feel as if the door for the title challenge, at the very least, is closing.
Yeah, it becomes very difficult to see, where Sundowns will stutter in terms of their run into the end of the league with 10 games to go. Obviously, well seasoned in terms of how to manage this time of the season. I mean, they've been doing it time and time again. So it's really, really difficult. I mean, for Pirates, you always have to win the games. You can't afford to drop points. If you're going to be chasing a side as strong and as potent as Sundowns, especially at the latter stages of the league.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Very quickly, we're going to expand on it throughout the course of the wrap, which is upcoming. But March the 1st, 2025, is that the obituary written for the title challenge?
It has to be a victory for Orlando Pirates if they want to keep their hopes alive. If you look at the games in hand at 12 points, it puts you 6 points away from Sundowns. Yes, games in hand is not points gained. So having said that, if Orlando Pirates get maximum points and they beat
Sundowns,
we're back in it.
Is that something that you sort of resonates with you? Are we, I guess, too naive to think that it's done, or is it really just a matter of now seeing out the last 10 games for Mamelodi Sundowns?
In my opinion, if I were to sort of lend my own experience within this time, is I remember the games were a lot closer.
Yeah.
There wasn't a 4-match gap.
Yeah.
There was maybe 1 or 2 games where you can manage your games, you can manage your points, you know exactly where you are after the weekend. Whereas now, you lose a game of Pirates, you've got 4 games in hand, right? And you can easily go into the change room and say, oh, guys, we're still there, there's 4 games. But again, there's no guarantees with those 4 games. And those 4 games actually make it an even higher mountain, especially when Sundowns, whenever they have a fixture, they take over, boom, win, win. That mountain just seems to get bigger and bigger and higher. So psychologically, it does make it really, really difficult for Pirates to keep that chase close, especially with Sundowns having 10 games left. See the difference?
I hear you.
Versus Pirates with 14.
Yeah.
Basically, Pirates are halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Really difficult.
Yeah, it's something that we are indeed going to try and expand a bit more after this break, because we are still going to have a look at exactly how it was that Marumo, and perhaps the headline result is the one that is on your screen right now. Marumo Gallants at home took on Orlando Pirates, and in coach Abdelslam Ouadu's first game in charge of Gallants, it was a W, courtesy of a 2-0 victory, and it started with a former Orlando Pirates player for the second time this season finding the back of the net against them, Gabadino Mhango.
Yeah, brilliant stuff here from Mhango. An elegant touch there, brilliant soft touch there, and if you look at this Marumo Gallants side and you ask yourself where the goal's going to come from, it has to be Mhango. He's a big time player for the big time moments, and obviously he's coming up against his ex-employee and he wants to be at his best. Another advantage is that they're playing for a new coach there, Bong, so that's always a massive motivator.
It is. I mean, obviously we've seen that little boost whenever there's a change in the management seat or the coaching seat. But it must be said, this was a clear change in terms of how they went about, managing Pirates within this fixture. The way they doubled up on Hotto, being the biggest danger, the way they got close to him for getting relay made it difficult for him. And just the compactness and the shifting and the hard work and the aggression and enthusiasm while doing it as well. Obviously, new players, new coach, players get a chance, you want to impress the coach. You just hope that this lasts a lot longer than just an Orlando Pirates fixture, with 40,000 people in the stands. I mean, that always helps you, right? So a great result for Marumo Gallants, and a huge speed hump in terms of Pirates' challenge for the trophy.
Yeah, Pirates completely dominating as far as the possession stats are concerned. Shots on target, 3 for Marumo Gallants, which is more than the season average of 2.9. And it wasn't just going forward that the two of you were impressed with Gallants today. Immediately, about 5 minutes into the game, you already felt as if you're seeing some signs that Coach Abdes Wadu is making a big difference, at the very least in shape.
Yes, and Bongani see that immediately. As a leader in the defense. You look at the defense as a unit.
Yeah.
And the minute we seen the 4 of them very close, you knew that, okay, they will double up on Mofokeng. So if you give Mofokeng inside, right, which, let's say if Mofokeng comes at you for six times against his defender, 4 times he's going to go to his right? So they say, okay, force him there, he's going to double up. Force him into the traffic. So you keep him quiet. But then you have Shandu there. Shandu's known for getting down the line, getting in the crosses. Not really creative, looking for 1-2s, coming short of Mabasa. So defensively, it was a very, very solid Marumo Gallants, very impressive. But now it's about how consistent can they be. You look at Marumo Gallants, they've conceded 30 goals. Today, clean sheet. I think that's, even if they never scored, that's a brilliant way to start for the new coach. And the 2 goals are just a massive bonus.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a bit of a catch-22 in the sense that, for Marumo Gallants, it looks great now, right? And you wanna carry on, as Stiga mentioned, carry on the momentum and obviously finish strong. I think what the coach has done, I mean, we saw with the subs, the enthusiasm of the coach, he seems to have a bit of life about him, and that's what you need when you're going to fight for your life towards the end of the season. You need a coach with enthusiasm, with a bit of passion, show your emotions as a coach. Definitely when things are going well, show the emotion that this is good, this is what I want the drive, I want the excitement, work off the energy of the crowd. But even when there's no one in the stands, you still need that voice in a change room, that positive voice. So for that, the little bit that we've seen with the new coach, I mean, it seems as if he's that type of guy, and that will assist Gallants in terms of getting themselves out of the situation they find themselves in. And for Pirates, of course, a lot of supporters, quite sad about today's result, but they have interest in many other sort of title runs and trophies. So it's a long season. It's been a long season. 1 trophy in the cabinet. A lot of players, main players, have been used often.
Yeah.
And the season's coming to an end. I can tell you, with 3 months to go, 2 months to go, when you challenge for the season, you start feeling your legs, mentally as well. You start feeling the fatigue, and it's about fighting it, the character to keep going and keep believing. And that always helps, as I mentioned, when the games are close to each other. That's your motivation to get across the line. But now when you look at that log table, in fact, I would advise any Pirates player, don't look at the log, because you know what you have to do. Don't get beat. Don't look at the log table, because when you look at the log table 2 months to go, and it's been a long season, right? You tend to think, but this mountain is just getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
So don't look at the league table, look at the next game, get your points, keep getting your points, keep fighting for your points. And for the players that haven't been involved, this is where they earn their contracts and their salaries. It's been difficult, you've been overlooked, other players have had the limelight. This is where you shine if you haven't been a Pirates player in the starting lineup. And those players need to come in now and really contribute to their aspirations.
Yeah, we are going to explore a little further exactly what that result does mean for Orlando Pirates. But for the time being, let's head back now to the Free State Stadium and find out from the coaches exactly how they reflect on that, including for the very first time a post-match interview for Coach Abdeslam Ouadou.
Coach, first match in charge of Marumo Gallants, first victory against the Orlando Pirates. Your thoughts on how your side performed?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to congratulate my players. I'm very proud of them. They did a great job. It's not easy. But like I told them, they have to believe on them. They need confidence. And sometimes it's a small changes that we need. And today we realize it. I'm happy for them. Of course, it was so difficult because we played against a very, very good team, very good players, and we had to be strong and maybe to find the right moment to punish them. It's what we did, and now we'll be happy with the players, but quickly we will have to think to the next game because unfortunately we still need points to save the club. So we have to build on that performance and to go forward.
At the beginning of the game, you spoke about the importance of you being compact, but also being astute in your defense, and you did that quite well today.
Yes, it's what I studied the team when I came here, and I saw that this team conceded 30 goals. It's too much, and when you concede such goals, you cannot wish to stay in the PSL. So when somebody is sick, we try to find a treatment as a coach, and the first thing it was to strengthen the defense, to have foundation. To have foundation, and now we are going to build and maybe to have more possession of the ball, because I like to have the possession. And today I cannot say that we have the possession, but we need points.
You had 2 forced injuries, unfortunately, in the first 45, and a goalkeeper that had to come in on debut. How much does that affect your forward planning?
It's a very bad point, to be honest, for the next games, because we play every 3 days, and of course it changed completely our plan, because you need to find the solution, and 2 players out, and we only have small changes. So we have to find the strategy, and I think we did well with my staff. We came some players we bring some players in the defense. They did very, very well, and I think I have to congratulate my staff as well, because I'm not working alone, and I think this victory is for the fans as well. We have to think to them, because they were suffering last games. So now I wish the best for the fans and for the players.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Coach, not quite the results that you had wanted here today. Your thoughts on how the side performed?
I thought we were in control before we conceded the first goal. Tame set piece in our standards, and I don't think we deserved to even lose the first half. I thought we created enough chances to come back. It didn't happen. Second half, I thought we dominated the way you will expect us to play, and then we conceded from a transition. And honestly speaking, in terms of the game, I really don't think we're supposed to lose. If you were to count the number of chances created, but it's a game of football. Chances created and not scored are not good enough. We lost a match. I thought the intensity of opponents was a bit higher than us. I wouldn't put a finger on the reason, but congratulations to the opponents.
When you brought in the changes, bringing in the likes of Paseka Mago, was that you trying to change the speed of the game? Because you are talking about the opponent having been a lot faster than you.
I thought we according to the game plan, we wanted to get behind their defense. I don't think we did enough. Maybe with a Hoto being an outlet on the other side. I thought we were again balanced in terms of that. Still created chances, but again our offensive side surveillance was not at its best. Hence we conceded so many transitions.
In terms of the log standings, I mean, one looks at it and says 18-point gap. Yes, you do have 4 games in hand, but that's not points on the board. Is the title race over, with all due respect?
I wouldn't want to look at it that way. If you look at some teams having played 20 games and us being four games behind, I wouldn't want to even look at it that way. Let's win our games, the next games, and I think the race is still on. But we look at one game at a time, and we'll continue doing that until told otherwise.
It would be remiss of me to let you go without asking you this question. We are in Bloemfontein. Monapule Saleng is in Bloemfontein with the Champs squad. Is he still a Buccaneer?
I promise the supporters that we are going to improve in the next game. The Pirates that they saw today is not the one that they expected, and we apologize for that.
So you're not going to answer the question?
I didn't hear the question, but yeah, it's okay.
Thank you very much, Coach.
That's Coach Mandla and the guys. At least a bit candid after that defeat to Marumo Gallants. Now, something that he did mention as well, Stiga, he says we did not deserve to lose this game, had more efforts on target. He's not wrong, but as far as the narrative of the game is concerned, surely Gallants could have a case of saying, yeah, maybe you're not quite right.
Yeah, I can understand what he's saying, because the stats say that shot on target.
Yeah.
Right, to 5-3. So you look at the possession, they dominated. They dominated before conceding.
Right.
They then, once again, took control of the game and tried to get an equalizer by dominating possession. So that's what you expect from Orlando Pirates. But unfortunately, Gallants were at their best. They were solid defensively, and they worked on the counter-attack, So, yes, the dominance is there, but right now, Orlando Pirates don't even need a good performance. They need the points, So that's the unfortunate part. But if you look back and holistically, it's a side that will dominate possession. It's a side that will create chances. They were just not effective. Now, I must say that I worry because of the depth. Today you had Shandu. Shandu is a different type of player than Nkota, than a Saleh that's absent. Maybe you should have put Hato further up the pitch and then put somebody else at left back, because that's what was needed. Because once Rile was isolated, Mabasa's going to keep his central position. That was the only creativity that was coming there. Then you have Talent Mbata and you have Dlamini, So I think there was a different approach needed. And that was not available on the bench. So that is also where the depth comes in. So agree with the coach saying they dominated, but that is not what they needed. They needed 3 points today.
For me, the best stat, I don't know if our producer will bring it up again, but the best stat is the fouls. I think that's where they win the game. If you look at the fouls, it's 15-7. That tells a story for me. I know you're playing against Pirates. Naturally, everyone wants to up their game because your grandma, your girlfriend, everyone watches that fixture, right? If you're honest. So you take it with a pinch of salt. However, I cannot ignore 15 fouls they had, Marumo Gallants. That means we're in your faces. We're here to fight. We're going to make it uncomfortable. And if you're going to beat us, you're going to do it the hard way. And guess what happened? They walk away with a clean sheet. Mabasa had a wonderful chance. I know the coach talks about great opportunities and so on. Mabasa, a wonderful chance. Leaps, gets his head on it, just misses the goalpost. You think, ooh, could have gone in. But what I look at is, look how many players are around him. There's 2 players. They're not just standing there. They're jumping, they're in his face, they're using their bodies, they're using their shoulders, and they've made it uncomfortable for him. They haven't made it an easy chance. Whereas early on in the season, perhaps, Mabasa rises, bang, nods it, it's a goal. But now the attitude seems different all of a sudden. Again, we hope that this can continue going forward. But for me, again, 15 fouls to 7 Pirates, very impressive.
Okay, very quickly, as we wrap this Orlando Pirates chat, I might need to have a bit of a lengthier chat about the Buccaneers. And again, sometimes fatigue, and again, we talk about their lack of rotation, and perhaps Coach Jose Rivero has spoken. He's come out and said that he's not really someone who champions rotation. You look at now, the 3rd game running, they go behind. Against Sundowns, they went behind, couldn't recover. Did so against Cape Town City, which was only the 2nd time in the last, since under Jose Rivero really, that they've recovered from a 1-0 deficit to win at the break. This time around, couldn't recover again. Fatigue not necessarily shows itself sometimes in the physical side of things, might be mental as well. Is that something that you feel might start to creep in this sort of run-in?
Most definitely, because they're competing the quarterfinals of the CAF Champions League, So I think if you look at Orlando Pirates under Jose Rivero, it's a side that ended 2nd, 2 years successively, won a number of cups. It's a side on the ascendancy, but it's a side that's growing as well. And when you grow like that and you're competing on all fronts, depth needs to come. And you must rotate. So I'm not the coach. This is the easy part where we say what we should do. But any team in the world that's competing all over, there needs to be rotation. And eventually he's going to realize it. Does he have the quality on the bench? I think Orlando Pirates, second to Mamelodi Sundowns, have the biggest and the best quality at their disposal. Yes, they maybe need to reinforce creativity up front. Defensively, they've got options. They've been knocked with a bit of injuries of late. But it is something that will count against them as the season progresses. You're still in the Cup, in the Nedbank, you're still in the Champions League. So rotation eventually is going to be needed. And if the coach is against that, he'll find himself stagnate because you'll come 2nd. You're going to not challenge Sundowns again. And then how far you're going to go in the Champions League. So maybe it's food for thought. And you've got to follow the trends of the best. And currently, we can't hide away. Sundowns is the best right now, and their rotation is on full blast.
Yeah, and speaking of the rotation, I mean, what a position to be in where you come into the last 3 months of the season and you find yourself as a club, Sundowns, where individual brilliance now starts to show off. I mean, that is just, I mean, how do you compete with that? You know, where Pirates have been brilliant. I mean, they've got good players that have looked good at certain stages, you know, in groups, in pairs, and they've worked with each other, they've worked off each other, and they've provided a lot of excitement for their supporters. Agreed. But then the question is, as good as they are as individuals and as groups, how many of their main players, their main starting 11, can honestly say, with the last 3 months, can you rely on individual brilliance from start to finish? Based on what we've seen on the other side of the fence, it becomes a challenge in terms of gap, unfortunately. No disrespect to anybody, but it just goes to show where the standard is, as Stiga mentioned, just highlighting the standard of where Sundowns find themselves, where in those group of players, there's so many players that can peak at any moment or can produce a moment of magic at any time. Today, they won 1-0. Absolute brilliance. That game is a no-no all day on any other day, or any other fixture, but now you've got a player who's just peaking at the right time. Now you ask in terms of Pirates, I know today, obviously the result doesn't go their way, but I'm just curious to see which players within that group will now start to peak when they need them most. And it doesn't have to be the players that we've seen all season. It can be anyone at the bench, perhaps someone sitting at home, but somebody, and definitely in groups, need to start producing the goods regularly, and that's where the rotation comes in.
And again, we're talking about the Orlando Pirates, that is at club level at the very least, record-breaking. 15 games in, they've got 36 points, and that is a club record. Also had won 12 matches of their opening 15, another club record. But it does start to feel as if maybe that ceiling is starting to be reached by this squad, unless, of course, something happens drastically in the last 16 games or 14 games in the Betway Premiership. Now, there is a team that is better than Orlando Pirates at the moment, and by quite some distance. This after meeting Kaizer Chiefs and indeed beating them, and as Bongani has mentioned, did not need to be another 4. It needed to be 1, and quite a special goal by quite a special player.
Yeah, it's just been tremendous, and wow, that first touch, you know, because you're traveling at such a speed, right? Firstly, just look at that Kaizer Chiefs defense. That's just so spread. You find Miguel as a centre back, he's running back, and Dove as a left back, he's at the central position. But that is because Sundowns has the width about themselves. Brilliant first touch there from Reyners. But the speed that is going, he just touches it. He didn't plan to do that. As you touch it, the ball will show how it's going to move, and then he improvised. And because he's got so much balance about himself, because he's oozing with confidence, and he's not in a purple patch, he's not in great form. This is just quality that is given a system where he can flourish. And I think under Cardoso, even before him, Coach Cardoso, I remember under Mangoba Miti against Richards Bay, Ribeiro playing as a false 9 and linking up with Serino, you know. So this boy it's not form that is going through, it's not a purple patch, this is quality of the highest order. And we must enjoy him while he's in South Africa, because any team that watches him, he's going to play quarterfinals, semi-finals. He's come from Europe. He was second division in Belgium. So let's enjoy him while he's here, because I don't think he's going to be here for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I don't know if Thomas is watching, but I know you won't like this. I told him about the power of Sundowns, like the power that they have. He's like, what power, what power? And I'm like, the running power, the athleticism that they have. They've got, a lot of teams have got 1 or 2 guys. Pirates have Otto, and you know, Van Rooyen, he's got good power, he can run. But they've got so many players, Sundowns, and I hope our producers can stop this when I say he'll stop it. Just after this ball is played, right? The shot at the back, there's a replay, we'll see what I'm trying to tell you. And if I tell you, the person who creates this goal, no one has seen it. And that guy is Shaluli, believe it or not. If you stop it there now, if you look at there, let it run freely. That's not a good angle, but let it run. If you let it run, you will see Shaluli actually points to where the ball must go. He's like, no, I'm going to run here into no man's land. He's played inside, and guess what happens? But because now, and as Tika mentioned, they're being stretched, but they're being stretched based on power, based on running ability, based on willingness, running for your teammates. I always said, players who run for each other show qualities of a top class team. And you look at Shalulile, this is the angle. Look at that. If you stop it there, please. If you can take it back a little bit, to our producer, can take it back a little bit. You'll see Shalulile. Look at that.
Right there.
I'm going to run, but I don't want the ball.
Yeah.
Play the other powerful guy who's going to run into the space just like I can. But I've created that goal for you, or I've created that space for you, rather. And that's a quality you talk about, a team moving, players moving for each other, sharing the responsibility, and now the running power that he shared.
And at the same time, Nepong, sorry to come in here, if you look at Ribeiro, I won't see it from this, but if you look at Ribeiro, he now has an option of, do I go to the defenders also ball watching, or do I go to the near post? So that decision and that understanding, it's telepathic. It's because it's been coached. It's not played off the cuff. It's been rehearsed at training, so all these things come together. And then you have another player that can come in there and the same movements will happen, So that is what depth gives you. That is what cohesion gives you.
Yeah.
And that is what playing together for an extended period of time in big matches. And then the individual brilliance comes in within the system.
Okay, that was Mamelodi Sundowns winning by a single goal to nil in front of a sold-out Lucas Moripe Masterpieces Stadium. Let's quickly head back there then as we reflect with the two coaches exactly how they saw that one. Mamelodi Sundowns winning for the 18th time, Kaizer Chiefs beaten for the 8th time already this season.
Coach, 3 points in the bag. How did you see the match overall from a Sundowns perspective?
It's when we made a press conference before the match, I told that sometimes these kind of matches are not really matches that are the most beautiful ones in terms of the quality of the football played. And obviously that the schedule that we've been having doesn't allow us and doesn't help that we can put, or today that we could put in the pitch the best football we would like to play. Anyway, also Chiefs arrived with very strong aggressivity, trying to hurt us in the back of our defense with long balls. So again, a very demanding game for our defenders. And it was clear from my part that we were tired. It was clear that we were tired. And even some of the players, they approached me and said, Coach, we feel tired. So we had to change the structure. We changed the structure twice. We had to make tactical adjustments, also the substitutions, in order to keep the team together, to cope with the defensive moment, because we knew that we could score, and I think we could have scored more. Obviously, that also Chiefs had their moments, but we defended very well the moments we had to defend. At halftime, I told the boys there's two things we need: trust and courage. Trust each other and have courage to go to play this match. And I also told them it's a team that is going to win today, and today is the work of the team that made us win. Fantastic victory, very important, but just 3 points. Let's now rest and think about the next one.
You speak of the team being important in terms of getting the win, but there was also an individual moment of brilliance from Ribeiro. That's a stunning goal.
No, it was a very good collective action, because we understood that it was the fullback of Chiefs that was jumping our fullback. So if we could attract with the movement of Peter, the center back, we could then make runnings on the back of the first center back. That's what happened. So Lucas, I think it's Hugorican that makes this movement, and then the ball goes to Lucas, and he makes a wonderful technical action. But it was a very good collective moment, because sometimes in these kind of games you don't play exactly how you want, but you have to adapt to what is happening in the pitch, and that's what I try to help the team to do. And congratulations for the players. Congratulations for football, because today was a very big spectacle for everybody to watch the game, for sure, very interesting. Congratulations for Chiefs, because that team is growing, and for the coach. But today we were stronger as a team, and I think we deserve the 3 points because of that.
Coach, well done today.
Thank you very much.
A tough loss to take, I'm sure, because you had some really good chances to score in this game as well.
Un match qui est difficile à perdre parce que vous avez aussi des occasions pour marquer.
Oui, je pense que sincèrement, d'abord félicitations à Sundowns pour le 3 points, sauf que sincèrement on ne mérite vraiment pas de perdre ces matchs. Minimum on devait avoir un match nul si c'est pas une victoire, vu le nombre d'occasions que nous avons procurées. Ça fait mal, mais bon, c'est le football.
First of all, congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns for for the 3 points. It's unfortunate that we think that we don't deserve to lose this game, at least to get a tie. Seeing the number of opportunities that we have created, but that's football.
What are the important lessons that you take from this game and you take forward into your next game?
Quelle est la raison, quelle est la leçon que tu tires de ce match pour aller dans le futur, pour le futur?
Non, je n'ai jamais perdu confiance en mes joueurs. Nous sommes en train de développer l'équipe. Je ne doute pas. Parfois, il y a des accidents pour des X raisons. C'est pas ces performances-là sur lesquelles on peut juger une équipe. Nous sommes en train de faire revenir. J'ai une mission bien déterminée ici. Quels que soient les résultats, quelles que soient les critiques, je terminerai ma mission parce que j'ai confiance en mes joueurs, en mon équipe et j'ai confiance en moi-même et en mon staff technique qu'on va arriver à remettre l'équipe à sa place naturelle.
No, today it's a tough loss, but we believe that it's a game that was well managed, and we have big confidence in our players, and the process of building this big club has to continue, and going forward we know what we are capable of, we know what we can do and what we cannot do, and all the players have worked hard enough, and we believe that the future is going to be good.
C'est vrai que le classement actuel il fait peur, il ne correspond pas vraiment au niveau qualité, mais ce n'est que provisoire. Il ne faut pas que les supporters paniquent à ce niveau-là, c'est provisoire et je suis sûr qu'on va terminer la saison beaucoup plus haut que ces classements actuels.
It's true that when you look at the standing, our position doesn't really reflect all the performances that we have had during the season. It might be something to make people panic, but we want to assure them that this is only temporary, and we are pretty sure that, and we are working hard, and we know that we will finish the season higher up than where we are today.
Coach, good luck today. Good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
These are the numbers then after 90 minutes that we saw at the Lucas Muripe Stadium. Shots on target 3 only for Mamelodi Sundowns, and again maybe that is going to be exactly where Kaizer Chiefs are going to have a bit of trouble, and their fans a bit of trouble in reflecting on this game. An 8th defeat of the campaign, 8th defeat in 19 matches, the worst return they've had in the history of the PSL. At the same time, there'll be some who are saying that wasn't the worst game that Kaizer Chiefs have played this season.
No. I mean, I've heard some positive things, from the Kaizer Chiefs faithful. So, admittedly, I missed out on the first half because I was driving here. But second half, the one thing that stood out was just that the mere fact that in the attacks on the sides, you could count 6 Sundowns players in the box. Sundowns knew what they were protecting. Sundowns knew how to protect what they had. But for Chiefs, I'm wondering, where are the jerseys in the box? Where are the runners? Where are the players just trying to latch onto things? And it just seemed as if perhaps they ran out of steam in the second half in terms of those aggressive runs in the box, but there just weren't enough numbers whenever they had a little bit of possession on the sides, or a little bit of passes on the sides. And second half, it just didn't look like the goal was going to come, unfortunately. But again, we talk about the level Sundowns is on. There's so much work for every other club to get close to them.
Is there consolation of some sort for Kaizer Chiefs after today?
Yeah, it's difficult to find it. Honestly speaking, because just the fact that, as Bongs alluded right now, when they're attacking, there's one guy in the box, one Kaizer Chiefs jersey. So like from the history and the size of a team like this, how can you be happy to lose one?
Yeah,
you can't be happy. It's reality right now. So there is an improvement. You never got 4. You never got a hiding. So there is progress. I just failed to see a pattern of play. I failed to see a bit of progress. So it's difficult for me as a player that has donned that jersey to accept a 1-0 as progress, So personally, it's a little bit emotional when I comment about that 1-0.
Yeah.
You know? But I think in the bigger scheme of things, it is definitely an improvement. It's a step in the right direction defensively, and you can only use this as a stepping stone. But I think it has to be a different approach. When you're coming up against Sundowns, there needs to be caution for where you're at as a side, so that you can't be embarrassed and get 4 or 5. The games going forward, there needs to be a different approach. You need to dominate possession. You need to get numbers in the box. You need to have different options down wide. You've got to play in the pockets. You've got to have so much more solutions. So we'll look forward to that going forward. But at the end of the season, they say the log doesn't lie. And if there is progress, it'll show with points. And come at the end of the season, you would have seen, okay, did we take a step forward? We compared to last season. And I think the report card will speak volumes. And then I think the team and the technical team and everybody will then be able to plan a little bit better, knowing are we on the ascendancy or have we been the same.
Okay, so beaten by Mamelodi Sundowns, losing for an 8th time in their 19 matches in the Betway Premiership. And as Stanton Fredericks has mentioned, perhaps their next tie against Magesi will tell us exactly where this Kaizer Chiefs side is at the moment. Another quick break. On the other side of it, we have a look at two teams who are on the opposite ends of the Betway Premiership standings, but both got home victories. They are TS Galaxy and Buccaneers.